Hey everybody, Dr. Thom Green here from Elmira Family Chiropractic. And today what I want to cover are some simple stretches for low back pain. Many people, whether you work at a desk, you drive a vehicle, or you just have a job where you're doing a lot of lifting, get tension building up in that low back. And a common question I get is, what are some simple stretches that will help with that discomfort? Well, first off, when we talk about the low back, what attaches to that low back? Well, all the muscles from our lower limb, so our calves, hamstrings, glutes, all of the fascia that surrounds that, even those muscles cross over into that low back. So if you have a tight posterior chain, which are those muscles, then that can cause tension building up in that part of your spine. So oftentimes I recommend the first stretch people go to would be a glute stretch. So simply lying on your back, and then you're going to bring the knee towards the chest, just like this, as you stretch that glute out in behind. You want to hold these stretches for anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds, depending on what you're comfortable with. If you find that simple, what you can do is you cross the foot over the knee, and then reach your hands through the little space that you create, grab the opposite hamstring, and then you're going to pull. So now you should feel this even deeper into that glute, as well as into your low back in this position. So from there, you can also bring both knees towards the chest, just like this. You can see what happens in my pelvis. It starts to lift up off the floor a little bit, and that's creating space in your low back. Oftentimes people get a lot of compression from our daily lives and what we do, so this helps to open things up, and you can even gently just rock from side to side in that position. From there, I recommend people, if you're flexible enough, taking a leg and then dropping it over. So you might feel some pops in your low back, and it might feel really good. And in this position, I'm keeping my shoulders flat to the floor the best I can, and then dropping my leg over at about 90 degrees from my hip. And then again, you can repeat that going the other way, dropping that leg over as close as you can to the ground. You might not be able to get that far, but if you need to, put a pillow underneath your leg, and then that way you'll be able to let that leg just rest and relax as you're getting a little bit of rotation in that low back. From there, adding in some hamstring stretches. So simply just sitting up and leaning your body towards your toes. You don't have to go too far. You might be able to reach your toes, you might not. But even if you just get your hands to your knees, and you don't want to pull hard in this position, you just want to let gravity and your body start to get some rounding in that low back. You can then put one leg out to the side and just do a single leg hamstring stretch. In this case, you're adding in a little bit more rotation in that low back, which can help to open things up as well as start to stretch out those lats. From there, I recommend people transitioning into child's pose. We see this in yoga. You're going to sit back on your haunches, knees bent, and you're going to reach your hands forward and slowly drop your forehead towards the ground. And there you're just going to slowly let things open up in your low back. You're going to feel tension, and your glutes start to stretch, your quads, and just as you breathe, you're going to sink down deeper into that stretch. You can also creep your hands over to one side, and then that's going to add in more of a stretch through those lats, and the lats, or the latissimus dorsi, they come all the way down into that low back, so it's important that we stretch those lats out as well. And then repeat on the other side, bringing those hands across. From there, you can transition into the cat camel. So a scared cat position is where we round the body, drop the head. You're going to round that back, and then you're going to drop down into the camel, where you drop that lower back like a tired horse, and then repeat back and forth, getting some mobility in that lower back. From here, simply transitioning into a forward lunge, where you're opening up that hip flexor in the front of the leg. You can even put your hands down like this, or keep your hands up if you're not as flexible, and you should feel that stretch coming through here, because if we have tight hip flexors, what happens is it pulls our body into flexion again, causing tension in our low back. Last thing I want to show you if you have a couch or a countertop or something that you can hang off of, what you can do is you can put your hands on the edge of that and just let your hips hang and sag, and then just gently rock back and forth, side to side. Another good option is if you have a chin-up bar and you can let your body hang. It's similar to the decompression you would get with like an inversion table. So these are a couple stretches that I recommend people do. If you're getting tension or pain building up in that low back, it really helps to open up the joints in your lumbar spine and your pelvis. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. Have a great day.